Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. Kevin Feige and Marvel just officially announced they're working on Black Panther 3. Denzel Washington, you remember, leaked the information a while ago, so we knew they had already started working on it, but Kevin Feige clarified a bunch of details, and they involve some bigger changes behind the scenes that affect what they were originally going to do with the movie before Chadwick Boseman passed away, and what's happening just in general with their big soft reboot they're doing of the MCU after Secret Wars. So we'll break it all down. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. First big detail they confirm is that there is an actual Black Panther 3 movie that they're working on. It's not just smoke and mirrors like a lot of announcements they make that never wind up paying off long term. The director, Ryan Coogler, has been working on a script for a while now. He doesn't work at George R. Martin pace or like Matt Reeves pace. Shout out to all the Batman fans. Batman Part 2 just delayed another year to 2027. Who knows if we'll ever see that movie? Denzel Washington is going to be a big character in the movie. This is the clip of him leaking that a while ago. He said he got in really big trouble with Kevin Feige and Marvel for doing that, but he's Denzel, like he doesn't care about this. Like him being in Black Panther 3 is more of a favor to them than it is them doing him a favor.
After that, Ryan Coogler is writing a part for me in the next Black Panther. After that, I'm going to do the film Othello. After that, I'm going to do King Lear. After that, I'm going to retire.
The current report is that he's going to be one of the villains of the movie, if not the main villain. More on that in a second, because I know everybody's like, what about John David Washington becoming the new recast version of T'Challa? Because if they're going to be rebooting the MCU, they can use that as an opportunity to just recast the T'Challa role. There's a lot that's been said about that, and Ryan Coogler has also separately talked about a lot of Black Panther arcs that he wants to do in Black Panther 3 separately, like completely different ideas, so we'll talk about that in a second. A lot of it involves what's happening with T'Challa's son, T'Challa Jr. But the even bigger news is the whole reason why Kevin Feige announced that Black Panther 3, normally they'd wait to the last possible minute to announce something, is because he was actually revealing that one of his most powerful producers inside Marvel was actually leaving the studio, like was quitting Marvel. So it's an absolutely wild way to announce your next biggest movie that's coming out as part of like this really huge franchise that's earned you so much money. It'd be like Kevin Feige talking about bringing Daredevil and Kingpin back, and within that, like a couple minutes into his conversation was like, oh, and by the way, we're also going to be doing Spider-Man 4. Daredevil's probably going to be in that movie too. Like, wait a minute, we have so many more questions now. The producer who quit Marvel is Nate Moore. He's been like Kevin Feige's second in command for a long time, like one of the most powerful producers at Marvel since back in Marvel Phase 1. He didn't really become a huge person inside the Marvel eco-structure till like Marvel Phase 2 though, on the Captain America movies. But he was responsible for all the Black Panther movies so far, all the Captain America movies since Winter Soldier. And even though he doesn't have a really big credit on the Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame movies, he was a big part of the Avengers movies by that time. Kevin Feige wasn't saying that he was being fired or anything like that for poor performance, because all the movies that he's worked on so far have earned a ton of money, like the more successful movies of all of Marvel's movies. But one of the upcoming movies that Nate Moore was attached to was the Iron Man Armor Wars movie, so it sounds like some of his future projects at Marvel did get canceled just because so many movies and TV shows got suddenly canceled when Marvel pulled way back to do more quality control. And typically when a producer this big earning this much money doing this well at a big studio like Marvel leaves is for a couple different reasons. He hits a ceiling just in terms of authority, control that he has over the actual movies that he works on, because Kevin Feige is always going to be the boss at Marvel. Like, you're never going to get promoted above Kevin Feige. Some of the projects that he was working on got canceled, so like he doesn't have projects that are coming up after Black Panther 3. And just in general, he wants to start working on non-Marvel movies that are truly his own projects that he has total control over. There's also a bit of a money factor here in play too. Like, it always comes back to money too. When you're working on your own projects you have total control over, typically they earn more money on those projects than the people working under Kevin Feige at Marvel. Kevin Feige said that there's no bad blood with him actually leaving the studio, and he's still going to be doing Black Panther 3 with them, even though by the time they start filming, he'll have left Marvel for a couple years. So there's no big conspiracy or anything like that. Like, it's a very standard Hollywood situation, even with non-big comic book movie franchises. The other example of a phenomenon like this is over at Sony with the destruction of their Spider-Man connected universe they were trying to make with all those spin-off movies. There are probably a lot of people over there that are going to quote-unquote retire under mysterious circumstances, aka getting fired quietly. That's a totally separate situation though. It doesn't have anything to do with the MCU Spider-Man related stuff. Generally, though, this is a super weird way for us to find out more about Black Panther 3. The whole thing with his canceled Iron Man Armor Wars movie is there's always the chance that Marvel just dusts off the script for that in several years and makes like a totally different version of that with Rhodey at the time like White Vision, Ultron, whichever other new characters they have around in several years, which will include way more new X-Men, Fantastic Four characters. There are a lot of canceled movies with Marvel's history that you never really find out about and get turned into other movies down the road. If you haven't been watching my What If episode videos that I've been doing the past week, they actually gave a lot of the Iron Man Armor Wars plot from that movie to the recent What If Season 3 episode with the White Vision character in Mysterio. Not the whole plot, just some really big twists from that story that it would have been. Stark Industries, for example, Iron Man technology would have been hijacked by Val, Damage Control, the US military, not Mysterio as was the case during the What If episode. They would have turned it into weapons, new armor suits like Sword tried to do with White Vision during WandaVision, in Damage Control during Spider-Man Far From Home with the Stark Tech drones, the Edith satellite weapon. They would have adapted a version of the comic book Armor Wars, just replacing Iron Man with Rhodey and giving him the plot that Riri Williams had during the What If episode, trying to destroy all the Stark tech that was being used by the villains. But the real villain of the Armor Wars movie would have been Damage Control. So Rhodey goes around the world taking out all the different people using Iron Man technology, destroys all the rogue suits of Iron Man armor, then stops Damage Control, the US military, who create a super armor suit like comic book Armor Wars, and inadvertently bring back Ultron's dormant code. Even though Vision seemed like he destroyed Ultron at the end of Age of Ultron, Ultron is not dead, like his code still exists, it's just dormant right now. So part of that movie would have been like the return of Ultron, but a lot of that plot now, because it's been a canceled movie, they've also incorporated into the brand new Vision TV series that we'll see episodes for in 2026. They literally just announced that James Spader is coming back as Ultron during that. But that's like a totally separate thing, has nothing to do with Black Panther 3, so I'll talk about that in completely separate videos when we get more details and footage. But you can kind of see why a lot of Marvel producers are either being fired or leaving Marvel because a lot of their big projects got canceled. Namor isn't listed on the Black Panther TV series Eyes of Wakanda, but that's not really critical to the plot of Black Panther 3. I'll talk about that TV series later in this video because we'll get episodes for that during 2025 next year. The bigger news behind the scenes, and I think this gets back to everybody wanting them to recast Black Panther with like a new version of T'Challa, is that because Kevin Feige and Marvel are letting Ryan Coogler take as much time as he wants to actually write Black Panther 3, now it's not going to come out till after Secret Wars. So I would say earliest we see that movie is going to be in 2027. Remember, Secret Wars is supposed to come out in May 2027, so like any of the dates later in the year right after that. Meaning that would be released in sort of like the reboot era of the MCU because they're using Secret Wars to do like a soft reboot, recast actors that they want to, change backstories, so that just everything exists on the same Earth in the same universe and it all makes sense going forward. You don't need like 10 different universes to explain where all these different characters come from. So there are a couple of things that Marvel can do now with the plot of Black Panther 3 that they couldn't do before when they were originally going to release Black Panther 3 before Secret Wars. They can either age up the young T'Challa Jr. and make him the new Black Panther by the end of Black Panther 3 and then going into Black Panther 4, just because they will make a billion Black Panther movies till the heat death of the universe. Or they can just use this as an opportunity to recast T'Challa because we're probably going to see a multiverse version of T'Challa Black Panther in Secret Wars. Like somebody like Kilmonger will come from another universe and he'll be Black Panther from that universe. Either way, just expect to see multiverse Black Panthers in the next couple years with the next couple Avengers movies. And I know now people will say, wouldn't it be cool if Denzel Washington is going to be the villain of Black Panther 3? Wouldn't it also be cool for Marvel to cast his real-life son, John David Washington, as that new T'Challa Black Panther? But I do think that Marvel has wanted to do more of the traditional big Black Panther stories from the comics and make them more comic book accurate. It's just that the past couple of years, they've had a big problem doing that with Chadwick Boseman passing away and then them having to pivot to Shuri Black Panther. So I think likely Shuri will be the main Black Panther at the beginning of Black Panther 3. Then by the end of that movie, she will have given up the mantle. And it'll either be a recast version of T'Challa that shows up, or it'll be the younger T'Challa Jr. who they've aged up to the point where he can actually take the mantle. This was the big arc that Ryan Coogler said that he wanted to tell with the Black Panther stories that they'll likely incorporate to Black Panther 3. The thing about that story is that he doesn't need to make T'Challa Jr. the new Black Panther yet in order to tell that, but it makes more sense if he is the new Black Panther, so we'll see how that all plays out. And at least the way things are shaping up, post-Secret Wars, they're focusing less on multiverse aspects. I think Black Panther 3 is also meant to be more of an Earth-based MCU movie with not a lot of multiverse elements, more like Captain America Brave New World is more of an Earth-based movie, as opposed to something like Deadpool and Wolverine, which is like full-on multiverse. Generally, I think they're taking that Deadpool joke to heart, where like people are slowly getting tired of the multiverse story of it all, and want to just get back to more core MCU stories. Which is also why I don't think that Denzel Washington's villain will be a multiverse villain. He'll be somebody from the MCU who they just haven't done yet from the comics, or a spin on a comic book villain that they just changed for the course of the movie. So for everybody that wants to see Black Panther, for instance, get together with Storm inside the MCU in live action, they can actually do that in Black Panther 3, now that after that we'll be doing a whole bunch of X-Men stuff. But that will be like a Black Panther 4 kind of twist. One of the funnier bits, too, that you've probably seen behind the scenes, this isn't related to Black Panther 3, but Ryan Coogler also been taking a long time to make Black Panther 3 because he actually went off to make a completely different Blade movie with Michael B. Jordan, like he's making a Blade movie with Killmonger, but at Warner Brothers, all before Marvel can even make their own Blade movie with Mahershala Ali. Normally that wouldn't be that big a deal, but the funnier part is that Ryan Coogler's vampire movie is based on one of the early scripts for the Blade movie, incorporates a lot of plot elements from that, with basically Blade back during the Depression era. But if it wasn't clear, Michael B. Jordan isn't playing Blade or any character like that during that vampire movie. It just feels a lot like him doing a version of Blade before Marvel can do a version of Blade. When it comes to that Black Panther TV series next year, that's mostly meant to be an animated series about the Hatut Zeraze going around the world to try and protect vibranium from different villains across different eras. So the opportunity there is that we see different versions of Black Panther across ancient history. We're also supposed to see an ancient version of Iron Fist, but I'll do more videos about that when we actually get more details. I've already done a big trailer video for that, so click here for that, and click here for all my What If episodes. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.